Hey Rebels! So excited to talk to you tonight about the biggest reason you struggle with boundaries. This is going to be a bit of a truth bomb coming at you. And I want to say one quick thing about truth bombs because I found myself saying this to two people this week. So when I notice that I'm saying the same things, I have to take notice and I have to come and tell you guys. Hey David, I'm just pulling up, okay, here we go. Someone sent in a question, so I wanted to be able to answer that. So when you are before I get to what the reason is, when you are getting a truth bomb or when you're hearing something, hey Jamie, where your ego does not like it, when you feel that resistance come in around whatever someone's telling you or whatever you're reading or whatever your angels just said, or however I just kicked you in your ass, whoever, whatever. When that's happening, I want you to do one thing. I want you to think about this. Some of you do this well, and some of you maybe not so much. So the thing I want you to do is I want you to dance with it a little bit. Hey Heather, try to be in a space where you can hear something and you can play with it for a little bit. You can slowly unpack it. You don't have to take it in and fully go with it yet. Like you can just dance with it for a little while. Hey Stacy, there are lots of times when especially angels tell me something and I get a download, or I ask like, how do I serve today? And the answer, I'm like, what? That I accept it, hey Ann, and I take it, but I don't necessarily go whoosh, 100%. And the beautiful thing about that is it stops you from being defensive. When you're defensive, your ego is blocking your intuition. Hey Paula, blocking your intuition from being able to take in something. So you want to make sure that you can do that. So just think about that, all right? Next time you get a truth bomb that you immediately feel that defensiveness come up, just be like, I'm just going to dance with this for a little while. I do that all the time. Hey Kim, hey Kara. I'm every time I'll hear something and I'm like, wow, that scares the bananas out of me. And I think a lot about when I was first learning about angels, I took basically every class that Doreen Virtue offered back in the day when she was still allowed to talk to angels. And there was so much of what she was saying that didn't fit the way that I viewed stuff. It didn't sit right. It was a little bit shattering to me, a little bit, that's not how I see it. Wait, that's not what I've been taught. And so I had to really dance with a lot of that stuff because I couldn't just take it in how it was. And a lot of that stuff I ended up accepting. And a lot of it I was like, well, that's her truth, but this is how I see it. And that's my truth. And she's not wrong and I'm not wrong. It's just slightly different. So I want you to be able to think about that a little bit. Okay. All right. So I'm also going to pull, I have my sweary deck out and ready. If anybody wants a card, you can comment. Hey, Kate, if you have a question, one question did get sent in, so I will answer it. But if you have another question, just let me know. Ask away. Anything to do with boundaries, not just this reason. Feel free to do that. And while I'm live, I will answer it. If I'm not live, I will come back in and type it for you. So just say I'd want a card if you want one. What I'm going to pull it for is the reason that I'm going to tell you. Are you ready? Okay. So the biggest reason people struggle with boundaries, and I mean struggle like they can't keep it up. They really experience a lot of emotional turmoil when they go to put boundaries up. The reason is, are you ready? Do a stretch. Take a deep breath. The reason is that they are much more highly valuing approval instead of connection. So I'm going to explain what that means, but I'm going to say it again because in case you're dancing with this truth bomb, like I just told you to, you can really listen to it, okay? The biggest reason people struggle with boundaries is that they're placing a higher value on getting people's approval than they are on truly connecting with somebody authentically. So here's what that means. Oh, shitballs is right, Paula. Yes. Here's what that means. And I'm going to tell you a story about myself in a minute. Approval is having somebody accept you, is having somebody say, yes, what you're saying, what you're doing, I agree with, I approve of your message. you are okay with me and I believe the exact same thing as you. Or if you are believing different, it's acceptable to me. Getting people's approval is a shallow, not so fun place to be, but our egos really like that. It's not connection because it isn't authentic, and you can't really connect to people if you're really just trying to please them. And so I think that empaths we're kind of designed to make it really easy for our egos to seek approval because we know, right? Before someone opens their mouth, we can tell if they're approving or disproving, okay? Connection is different. Connection is deeper. Connection is you being able to share yourself, your soul, your thoughts, your feelings with another person at the risk of it being different than theirs, at the risk of them not approving, of the risk of them saying, you know what? I'm gonna unfriend you on Facebook for that shit. At the risk of that, God forbid. Oh my gosh, I listen to people all day, every day, right? That fear is like, it's strong. And the reason it's strong is it's not really real. It's just you're really afraid of not getting approval, right? So here's what I want you to do to really think about this. I want you to think about showing up authentically. So if there was one word that I could use, if the angels were like, you only have one word that you can use to help these empath people anymore, this is the word I would use because this is the one that rings the most true for empaths. It's the word that will inspire empaths to jump over their discomfort and move past their need for approval all the time. And that word is authenticity. Empaths crave authenticity. They crave it in themselves. They crave it in other people. They crave authentic connections with people. We do not like to talk about small talk. Like, I got like 3 good minutes of talking to you about the weather. And then I'm going to be like, tell me your deepest, darkest fear. Tell me your biggest goal in life. And tell me all the things that happened to you when you were 6 years old. Like, I can't do small talk. I can't do that weird approval, we have nothing to talk about thing. I want to go deep. I want to know who you are. I want to have authentic connection with people. And I know that you feel that too. I know that you're that kind of person too. And so yes, it can be very uncomfortable to be like, I'm going to be real with you and you might not like it, right? But it's hard. I get it. Totally. But the feeling you get, hey Aspen, the feeling you get when you are able to just be like, I'm sorry, I don't really like to talk about the weather. I tapped out at 3 minutes of small talk, so tell me more about your life. Tell me what you do. Do you love it? How'd you get into that? People always accuse me of like interviewing people all the time. Matt always says that to me. It's like you sit there and interview people. And I do. I love to ask questions. I love to get to know somebody. Even if someone has an opposing view, I love to ask them about it. So if you can search for that, that's gonna help you get past this. Ask yourself, is this connection or is this approval? What's motivating me, right? What's behind this for me? And that's gonna help. Heather says, so me. Yeah, maybe it's the name Grohl. It's an empath thing, right? It's what we do. So if you can look that way and if you can show up authentically, it's going to make a huge difference. When I was in the deep dark hole, when ego ruled my life and I was incredibly unhappy, when I was in that place, I was the queen of seeking approval. And I was actually really good at it because I'm so intuitive. Like, it's easy. I could just like pick up what this person had going on and use it to have a conversation and say all the things that I knew were right. And oh my gosh, it was exhausting. And all of those fake connections that I had with people ended up blowing up in my face. All of the people who didn't want to know me in an authentic way, were like weeded out of my life anyways. And there are people who are in my life that don't approve of me. They won't give me their approval. It doesn't matter what I do. I could do like, I don't know, a tap dance or like a backflip and they would still just be like, we don't approve, you know? And that's okay. You have to find a place in you that's okay with that because getting everyone's approval is impossible. It's impossible. Getting connection with people being able to go out there and be who you are and have some people in your life, even if it's a small amount, but have some people in your life who are like, hey, we really like this authentic you. All those things you're afraid to show people, we kind of think it's the bomb. That's awesome. And it's worth having some people not approve, right? Heather says authentic people are sexy. Word. Yes, they are. I agree. I think empaths, we just have a high like bullshitometer, right? Like mine's always going off like, okay, when someone's saying something, right? So it's really hard for us to do that little light stuff. So we need to protect ourselves better, and we need to show up looking for connection, not approval, because connection is the thing that makes us happy. That authentic connection, an empath with that, man, that's the best, right? We can't stand when someone's being shady, right? Or like trying to pretend they're someone they're not. That drives empaths crazy. So you got to see, if you're seeking approval, you're doing that, right? Right? Okay. So I want you to do a little experiment for me. I want you to look at the last 5 things you posted on Facebook. And I want you to give it a rating. Now you can share in the group if you want to, or you can just do it for your own information. But I want you to give it a rating. And I want 1 to be like full on looking for approval. And I want 10 to be full on being authentic you and looking to connect with people. And I want you to rate those last 5 and see where they fall. Are you expressing who you are authentically? Are you trying to connect with people? Showing them who you are, what you believe, sharing your voice? Or are you trying to gain approval? Which one? Right? I want you to do some ratings. The reason that you can't keep boundaries up when you're looking for approval is that approval has nothing to do with you. Approval has nothing to do with you being authentic and you feeling good. So in order to put a boundary up, you're saying, hey person, I value how you feel, but I also equally value how I feel. What's up? What's happening? Nice to meet you. And if you have somebody who doesn't like that, that is a beautiful time to walk the hell away. All right? Because I bet as an empath, you also love when people express to you where their boundaries are and people are honest and real. You love that. You feel more comfortable, right? One of the best things about my mom, there's a lot of amazing things. One of the best things about her is that she will tell me. And that makes it so much more comfortable. I'll ask her for more things. I'll ask her for more opinions because I know she's going to be real, right? And those are the kinds of people who I like, who are going to straight shoot at me, right? I bet